Hello Electroheads. Usually I try my best to keep my work life separate from my private life. But today I'm going to open up to you guys. I'm going to talk to you about something that's really close to my heart. I'm going to tell you about my baby. He arrived in the summer of last year and changed my life forever. Some people said it was too soon, that I was too young, but I knew it was the right time for me. It wasn't easy getting him shipped over from China, especially during the pandemic. In fact, they actually had to send me two because the first one got lost in the mail somewhere. But the important thing is he's here now, and I love him more than I knew was possible. This is my baby. This is the Backfire Zealot, and I'm fairly sure it's the best electric skateboard in the world right now. Now, best electric skateboard in the world. Not clickbait, I do actually mean that, and I'm going to explain why in just a moment. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that this is the ultimate electric skateboard. God no, there are faster, rangier boards, there are more specialised boards than this one. But much in the same way that my go-to answer to the question, which electric car should I buy, is Tesla Model 3, the Backfire Zealot is now my official go-to answer to the question, which electric skateboard should I buy? It's not perfect, but for most people, it's going to be everything they need and more. So Backfire is a Chinese e-skate brand, which is actually turning 10 years old this year, making it one of the longest standing e-skate companies in the game. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but e-skate brands tend to have a worse survival rate than sea turtles. A moment of silence for all our fallen soldiers. But one look at the Zealot and you can clearly tell this is a high quality product built by an experienced manufacturer because it's just so nicely made. There's nothing loose, there are no squeaks or rattles, it just feels so solid. And call me old fashioned, but that's something I really appreciate on a piece of wood that I plan on riding at speed in the road. On top we've got this longboard deck, which is actually slightly concave to really lock your feet in. It's covered in black grip tape, which I really appreciate because if you go back and look at some older Backfire boards, they had this really bad habit of covering them this like galaxy print, and it just made them look like they came out of a Happy Meal. These wheels are actually not the ones that came with the board. We'll get to those in a moment. And then on the underside, we've got the belt drive system, the motors, the controller, and the battery. The way this is split into, actually the way the board looks in general, very boosted boardsy, which not a bad thing. Does it count as plagiarism if the person you stole it from is dead? Let me know in the comments. And there's a couple of nice features on here that are worth mentioning, like, see that? USB charge port. This port here, that's how you charge the board, but this one is for charging stuff off the board, which I have literally never done once. But if I found myself stranded in the middle of nowhere and my remote died, I'd be very glad that that was there, if I'd brought the cable to charge the remote, which I never do.
He's dead.
And this is cool too, check this out. Ooh. Do they serve any purpose? No, but they're cool. As for the remote, super simple. We've got a few function buttons here that control the speed modes and the light and turbo mode. There's a little OLED screen giving you a readout of the board's battery and the remote's battery. And then on the top, you've got your Christ. Almost did the splits. And on the top here, we've got the thumb wheel, which, you know, forward is forward, backwards is brake. Also, look at this. If you flip this switch, you can put it in reverse mode. It's got a reverse gear. Why? Don't know. If I'm being really picky, I wish I got a more accurate battery readout, like a percentage of what my board had left on the remote here. Instead, I just get these kind of little bars. I think it's 6 bars when it's fully charged. Bit vague, small gripe. And then one more thing I quickly have to acknowledge before we talk about what the board is like to ride is the amount of stuff that it comes with. E-skate brands can be so stingy with accessories. The worst example of this is the one wheel. I know it's not actually an e-skate, but it's close enough. And they take the oh, does Sir want a fender with his one wheel so his leg doesn't look like a German Shepherd on it after 5 minutes of riding? An extra $100. Oh, Sir wanted a handle so he could carry his one wheel. Another $100. Just makes you feel a bit dirty and not in the fun way. And then you compare that to the Zealot, which comes with spare belts, spare pulleys in case you want to change your wheels out. Pretty much all the tools that I would need to take the board apart entirely. Some bolts and screws. This thing. And most importantly, stickers. This is a lovely touch from Backfire, and considering how long it takes to ship anything from China, more on that later, I especially appreciate those extra parts, the additional belts, the tools to take the board apart. Such a nice touch, and it just makes me feel like a valued customer from the moment I open the box.
What's in the box?
Okay, before we move on, let's just very quickly flash all the key specs for the board up on screen for anyone who actually cares. Stats. Gone. Now, what is this board actually like to ride? Well, in a word, smooth. The biggest compliment I can give the Backfire Zealot is that I feel perfectly happy riding it on the streets of London. And the streets of London are a pretty intense test. To start with, there is the road surface. London roads are covered in cracks and potholes and rubbish, and it's just a bit of a mess. But the Zealot can take it all in its stride, and that's thanks to a few different factors. Firstly, there is the flexi deck, which essentially acts as suspension and really helps stabilize your ride and iron out some of the bumps on the ground. There are two decks available for the Zealot. One is made from bamboo, one is made from a fiberglass maple composite, which is the one I have here. This is the slightly stiffer of the two, and I chose this one because I'm a heavier rider, and to be honest with you, I was just worried I'd be scraping the ground the whole time with the bamboo one. This deck still provides me with plenty of flex, but it's the right stiffness. If you're a bigger rider, get this one. And that smooth ride is also thanks to the board's big wheels. Now, these are the wheels that come with the Backfire Zealot. They are big, squidgy 95mm longboard wheels, and they are excellent. They're really, really good for uneven road surfaces, really nice wheels. It really is amazing how much difference a few millimeters can make, because my old electric skateboard had 85mm wheels, and those just felt way too small for London roads. Every little rock felt like it might be my last. Going up to these 95s made all the difference in the world. But if you're willing to spend a little bit extra, you've got to get a set of these. These are 105mm cloud wheels, and they are unbelievable. Mainly, I bought these for winter riding. I don't know how much you know about the weather in the UK, but it hates us here. And I feel a lot more confident riding over wet leaves, manhole covers, and other soggy stuff with these cloud wheels, which are slightly rounded and have got a bit of tread to them. You can even do very light off-roading with these wheels. You don't want to go anywhere near muddy fields or tall grass, but as far as just cutting over a patch of gravel or down a little dirt trail, more than capable. And that's why I love these wheels. They take a really capable board and they make it even more usable.
That is like poetry.
They also cost $160, which, ouch, but worth it. I also really like the fact that Backfire have stuck with simple single kingpin trucks for this board instead of the more popular double kingpins. A lot of electric skateboards now have double kingpin trucks, which make them really carvy and allow you to make really, really sharp turns. Backfire, they've decided to keep it simple. And I appreciate this because it just makes the board feel that bit more stable. It's more like a comfy GT car than a really pointy sports car. You can still make sharp turns, you can still carve, the whole thing's just a little more solid. Of course, the other thing that makes London riding such a challenge is the amount of varied traffic. You've got cars, you've got cabbies, you've got buses, you've got cyclists and scooters. Everyone is in a rush and everyone is ready to fight you if necessary.
I'm walking here!
It's a wonderful city. Now, to feel safe on London streets, I need to be able to keep up with traffic, which means I need to be able to do 20, 22 miles per hour comfortably. I also need a bit of acceleration to be able to pull away from traffic lights. And the Zealot is more than up to those challenges. It is, of course, a belt-driven board. It's actually Backfire's first belt-driven board. And personally, I prefer belt drives. I like the additional poke that they seem to have. And I even like the whining noise that they make. I think it's just nice to have a bit of noise to let pedestrians know that you're coming. Also, it makes me feel like a Formula E driver. And the belts on these boards happen to be connected to two 750-watt motors, which is quite a lot. This is a fast board. It's not insanely, stupidly fast like my old Evolve board, which had two 1500-watt motors, but I'm quite glad about that because that was going to end badly. In my experience, and I've said this before, electric skateboards are either fast enough or not fast enough. This one's fast enough, particularly if you ride it in sport mode like I do. There is also a turbo mode that you can activate for like 30 seconds of additional boost. I haven't used that very much. It strikes me as a bit of a gimmick. And of course, just as important as the board's performance is its braking performance. And again, top marks for the Zealot here. The brakes are strong and powerful, but easy to use smoothly and in a controlled way. And they are able to bring the board to a complete stop, which a lot of other electric skateboards can't quite do. They can slow you right down, but they can't stop you dead. this one can. As for the bad stuff, well, the big one for me is the shipping time. Now, granted, I did order this board in the middle of a pandemic from halfway around the world, but nonetheless, the fact remains, I ordered this board at the start of August. It arrived in mid-November. Hopefully Backfire can go on to roll out a few different headquarters around the world just to cut down those shipping times, because I do worry about what would happen if my board broke and I had to send it back to them. I'd be in my 30s by the time it came back, which are not soon, by the way. I'll hasten to add that Backfire's customer service is really good, really, really good. It just takes a long time to ship stuff. Other complaints, the usual stuff, I guess. I wish it had a bit more range. Backfire quotes about 15 to 20 miles on their website. I probably get somewhere between 12 and 13 miles out of the battery on this board. But do keep in mind, I'm a heavy rider. I live somewhere where it's really cold. I ride everywhere in sport mode. So I'm pretty happy with that. It gets me to work and back on a single charge, which is what I bought it to do. But if it had bigger battery, I would go on longer rides. And the only other thing I was going to complain about is the location of the charging port. It's really hard to get to, sort of under here, but what I've just realised sitting here is the reason it's there is so that it's pointing away from the front of the board so it doesn't get any gunk in it when you ride. Backfire, you brilliant bastards. So there you have it. A fairly detailed review of the Backfire Zealot. For my money, the best all-round electric skateboard that you can buy right now. If you own a Zealot, let me know in the comments what's your experience of the board being like. If you have another board which you think is better, let me know in the comments why I'm dumb and wrong. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.